Hey guys, it's Malls. Thanks so much for listening to Please Advise. Just a quick message before the show. Don't forget to subscribe in iTunes. It's super helpful for us and super helpful for you. You can also call 323-450-7408 to get your calls on the show. Again, 323-450-7408. Or email askplzadvise@gmail.com with your voice notes or emails. Thanks so much. Hey guys, it's Malls. Welcome to Please Advise, episode 129. Our guest today is Chantal Claret. Hey girl, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm so excited we're meeting in real life. And we followed each other on Twitter for a long time. But then I was watching my fucking favorite show, Catfish.
Oh.
And you were on because Neva's on paternity leave.
Yeah.
Neva's also been a guest on this show.
Has he?
Full disclosure. Yeah. And it was a very strange episode because I think he was going through some stuff. And also it was a different energy.
Yeah.
And so we were like, I was a little bummed because I fucking love Catfish and I wanted to like kind of get into it. And I wanted to
have Max on.
I should have Max on.
Max.
But I have you here today.
Oh, yeah.
You've
both
done
of
it
them.
too. And
Yeah.
you were part of the weird three-way
It
Catfish,
was
right?
amazing.
Okay.
I hope to do more of them.
So do you think you will?
I hope so. I think there's a possibility.
Girl, it was so good. And also like
I had the best time.
so
It's all real.
You know nothing, right?
It's okay.
Production knows, but you don't know.
Exactly. So it's a thrilling adventure that you are invested in from start to finish. Like people would pay for that experience.
It's like an escape room
Yes.
sort of situation.
For that
where
last
they're
4
like-
days,
yeah.
and you're going through all the roller coaster. You're doing all the research yourself.
Yeah.
And granted, I've been an internet lurker for like my whole life, so
Sure.
I never knew that these skills would ever come in handy for anything remotely good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have all of these skills except for reverse image search, which still blows my mind to this day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was awesome and just such a thrilling. I mean, I was living every moment of it. And then Marvin was an angel. I mean, I lucked out because
Yeah.
like
You want to have the person be like someone that you're rooting
Yeah.
for. And there are some like personality-wise duds.
Yeah.
Like that come on.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'm not really rooting for this person. I don't really care if they get there and the person is the
he was
exact
so
opposite.
sweet. And so here's like the update to what's happened is that they came in for the reunion and the Catfishers are there too. Like, they're the worst. And
Wait, well, okay, so for people at home who don't know, it was this gay guy named Marvin. He thought he was talking to this like cute guy. And he had been talking to him for a long time, right? And like the guy and him just wouldn't meet, even though he thought the guy lived close to him, right?
yeah.
And then it turned out that it was 3 people who didn't know him, but just do this for fun.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty much, yeah, in a nutshell. They started off pretending to be like vigilantes trying to catch gay guys in their local neighborhood in like cheating on their boyfriend. So they made up this fake model guy, but then they just started talking to random innocent people. And
Vigilante is?
Yeah.
Is that serious?
That's what they
that
looked
is
themselves. Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
That is really dark. Like,
But it was all BS. I mean, they were just really sad people. So they were all in town with Marvin, and Marvin had never been to a gay bar in his life, and he's 22 now.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I am taking you out and showing you the night of your life. So we went out. He went to his first gay bar. He met his first drag queens. He like gave his first go-go boys money, like, and he loved it. I mean, I knew did not take a lot to like let his freak flag fly, because like all he wanted at the end of the day, you're 22. All you want is like
get your ass to LA and like get involved.
I
yeah.
literally checked the Lyft because I paid for him to come out from his hotel, so I ordered him a Lyft. But I thought he liked it so much, I literally checked the map to make sure he was going home and didn't stop and like have him like that. I am not even joking, because I was like, I could see him being like, never again. Like,
Yeah.
I am here, LA. So,
Yeah.
And he said he had like the best night of his life.
He's from like Cleveland or something?
No, Joplin, Missouri.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
Like,
no good.
Where they do have a gay
No
bar
offense.
called Equality Rocks, and it's actually like a pretty big hub, we found out, for that area. And there's like in the area, there's actually a pretty big gay community. Sorry.
I will say there's something a little bleak about the one gay bar in town being called Equality Rocks.
I know.
Like, it's a little bleak.
It's on the nose.
Like, it's like, is it? Like, at BC, we had a campaign called Gay, Fine by Me.
Oh.
Like, and it's like, gay, question mark, fine by me. And it was just like, first of all, what an ugly statement.
I mean,
and
it's basically don't ask, don't tell in a different form, you know?
It's like the safe space.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. That's
Exactly.
the
The safe space.
Oh, that's so...
But yeah, so he's never been to Equality Rocks.
No, he's never, ever. But I think now he would venture out because he saw how... Oh, and he was also milking his catfish status.
Oh, yeah.
Where it hadn't even aired yet. And he was like, oh, hey, you like catfish? She's like, I'm going to be on it. Oh, I'm the person who was catfished. Like, what's up? Like,
Sweet Brad.
He was so awesome.
But I feel like you probably would wind up getting laid a lot more after being on Catfish because people, like, it's like being a single mom. Like, people are just like want to take care of you and have an affection for you.
He is gonna get it. I was like, he's so happy right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's because I keep checking. I'm like, how are you? And he's like, oh, I'm great. Like, don't you worry about
me.
me.
Is he gonna like? Do you think that like? Because not everyone has to, right? My immediate thought is like, do you think he's gonna like move to LA, but like and like live his truth? Yeah. But
I think he'll live his truth. I think he'll
Joplin,
live his truth, but it
Missouri.
might be in Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah.
And I think it's more worthwhile for him to stay there and like help cultivate the strength of the community. You know, and like we don't have to all retreat to like liberal city hubs.
Exactly.
Like
That's what I was thinking.
we need liberal people in those areas.
Totally.
Yeah.
And not to imply that just because he's gay, he's liberal.
Yeah.
But.
I think he is. We follow each other on Facebook, and I see all the memes he posts.
Well, we do a thing here where we ask people 3 reasons why they're qualified to give advice, and you just wrote yours down, but I want to show you something I bought today.
Okay, yeah.
Before we get into your 3 reasons and then the calls. So, I went to lunch in Atwater Village today, which is where I love to go. If you guys are coming to LA and you want like a cute street that's not Larchmont to just like come look at shit, this is like a good hipster row. So I stopped into a store called Decor, Dekor, and it was very expensive. Everything there was very, very expensive. There is a rug there that I'm going to go back and get, but everything there was very expensive. But I saw something.
Was the space set up like sparsely set up?
Beyond sparse.
You know what I mean? Like that's the indicator
Honey,
of
like one of the there was like
there's like one shirt.
It's like one shirt. And like
there was like
sizes.
there was like a fake closet that had one. There was like only one copy of each shoe on the rack, so you'd have to like point to the clog and be like, I want that floral clog. And like I don't know where they would go to get it. Like I really don't know where. And then of course, as I'm checking
outside
out
in the
Narnia, they have a closet that's in Narnia.
I think they might. And then after it was so sparse, girl. It's such a good call because also one of the few things they had for sale in the store was a wooden pizza oven, like fucking take the pizza out thing. What do you call those?
A spatula?
It's like a pizza spatula. Like it
For
would,
what?
for I guess if you have a pizza oven because you shop at a store that is $500.
Wait, for sale?
Yeah. Like in case you want.
That's like
this.
those
All
places
right,
that
what
have,
did you
like-
get? I need to know what's in there.
But I saw something because even though my friend and I had been talking at lunch about how you're never really going to change as a person unless you do self work, so you can buy a house or you can move to a different country or you can, fucking get a new haircut, but you're still going to be the person you are and you have to like fucking come to terms with that. I found something that I think is going to change my life. I think is going to change who I am as a person fundamentally. I think everyone's going to see a lot of differences in me very quickly, and this is what it is. I'd like you to take a look at this.
I'm terrified.
What's in the bag? Do you want to open it with me? It seems like
Christina's like ripping it from Chantal's.
Wait, it's a glass milk bottle?
Just keep going.
Oh my god, okay.
I'm holding it at the bottom.
It's a water thing for next to my bed. So now I would like to formally announce that I'm going to start drinking water.
We just met, so I don't know what's your prior relationship with water?
This bottle of water that is on my desk right now has been sitting here since, 1996.
No,
like
so you don't drink water.
I had a water today and it was so crisp and delicious.
The best.
And then I walked into Decor and I'm like, fuck. I was like, I could get this water thing and I could just be drinking crisp ass delicious water all the time.
I'm taking a photo of this for the Please Advise Instagram.
And I've seen things like this on television and film and been like, that is the chicest shit in the entire, like that is how
Can I ask how much it was?
$35.
Oh my God, that's so cheap.
I know.
That's pretty good, actually.
All right.
And that was like, that was the thing. And then the other thing was, I go to the register. Of course, decor is, running. The woman's more concerned about the fact that the Spotify
I just
isn't
got
running.
that it was an analogy for decor. Like, I'm looking at it as spelling Dekor.
Oh, yeah.
When you just
It's
said it, I was like,
decor.
oh, yeah.
Sorry about this loose rose on my desk.
I'm
I just
very
couldn't
upset.
bring myself
I'm
to
upset.
throw it away.
It's beautiful.
Thanks. It's from my garden. Isn't that cool?
Isn't that the best?
It's I feel like I live in fucking Villa Rosa. Like
Yeah.
I'm Lisa Vanderpump in this bitch.
No, I have roses, and I'm like, who am I?
You're
Although
like
the
a
reason I have a
fucking
rose
adult.
garden is actually really sad. Do you want to hear it really quick?
Yeah.
The people we bought our house from, they
Don't
had
say their cat is buried under it.
it's worse. They had a daughter whose boyfriend got HIV in a hospital before they tested the blood, and he gave it to her, and she passed away. And so when she passed away, all the friends of the mom brought different kinds of roses, and they planted this rose garden.
Okay.
I'm fucking sorry. What?
I thought it was going to be darker. Like she was buried in the yard.
No,
and
she's
they
not buried
covered
in
her
the
body
yard.
with
No,
the-
that's not
no,
legal.
no,
That's
no.
not legal. I
wish it was,
You
though.
live in the valley. You're
Yeah.
so close to
It's
Forest
almost legal
Lawn.
in the
Like
valley.
her body's fusing with the like rose.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Oof. That is dark.
Yeah, and we were like, we'll take it.
Well, so speaking of blood,
And we have a bomb shelter,
Really?
which I didn't think we'd ever need, but,
But
I mean,
no.
now
You
it's
might.
yeah.
You might need that. You can order like food for like for 50 people for 30 days on Amazon. Like it just
I'm
comes in
right now
packets.
Prime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is a new rich people trend, is like fallout shelters, like but chic fallout shelters.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
that you can live in the
So
apocalypse.
they'll have like
I don't
a
want
spin
to.
bike, like for the spin room, and like it's like several layers deep. And so like it's like
Yeah, because you need to exercise in the apocalypse.
It's not wrong. You do.
I mean, I guess
for your
movement
mental
is
health, if you're
good.
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
yeah.
James, yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's okay. Well, whatever. I mean, I would just want
Oh
a
wait,
TV and
can
a
we go back? I'm
mattress with
really
a blanket.
excited about your water drinking.
So, well, this is funny enough related to blood. So, many years ago, my friend was like, "Do you want to do the blood type diet?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "What blood type are you?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "And I'm afraid of needles, so I'm not going to find out. I'll just guess." And so, like, I looked at the traits of people who have different blood types, and
Yeah.
I have very strong nails, and so do B positives. So I was like, I must be a B. Like, I must be.
Was it based solely on that?
That was it.
Okay.
That was all I ran from. And so I followed that diet. My friend wound up giving up on that diet after a week, and she knew her blood type. I found out I followed that diet for months and still loosely follow it to this day. And I found out last week that I'm actually an A positive and things to be avoided when you're an A positive, which makes so much fucking sense. You're going to die when you hear this. Smoking, alcohol. Number 3, loud noises.
Oh.
Like it's bad for my
I
blood
want to know
type.
which blood type is the first 2 good for. Like,
I mean-
which one is that? Oh, you're an O. All right.
They said avoided at all costs.
Oh.
So I was like, but I was also like, well, honey, we're a little bit late for that.
Yeah.
Like we're a good 20 years into me
Yeah.
having these habits. So good luck. I mean,
Yeah,
no,
that's
not
your
20
parents'
years, but-
responsibility to tell you your blood type.
Yeah, my mom like lost my birth certificate. So like I don't
Does it say your blood type on your birth certificate?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm just saying my mom
That's
but I'm saying
indicative of how.
like
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how you would find. I don't know my blood type. I don't know
the
how.
found out 'cause I
pediatrician
gave
tells
blood.
you.
Oh,
Like you get your, when you're an infant, all that information comes out.
yeah, they find out in the end.
But if you go to the doctor, anytime they take your blood at the doctor, just ask for them to check and they'll tell you. And A positive is apparently like the second most common type of blood. So it's very important for me to give blood. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
You really don't like needles.
really don't like, it's like an adult fear that I have developed. And when I go to the dentist, I literally make them put me to sleep because I'm so afraid of like anything like that.
I get that.
So it's really pathetic. But one of the things I need to do for my blood type is drink a lot of water. And I'm just like, I'm like,
I like that you just get a piece of information and you put it into your life very fluidly.
or I'm just trying to find a way to justify this fucking stupid purchase, but it is chic AF.
It's
right?
nice. Yeah. And I think water is the nectar of the gods. And I wish my mom had instead given water. I love water. So I drink it like a goddamn camel.
You do?
Yeah.
Your skin is great.
Oh, I thank you. But I love water. So I highly recommend. I'm excited for you.
One thing I will say about Ari, the water bottle that we've been talking about for 14 minutes. I like that it gives you a little cup because I have a big like sports water bottle that I keep at my bed, and it's just like I don't want to like try to deal with that in the middle of the night.
I don't drink water. I don't like the vessel.
I think start with this though, but ultimately you also might want one that keeps it cold for your crisp. If your fantasy is crisp water,
well, that's why I have the mini fridge. That was also the mini fridge came in also as a way to be like so that I always have cold water. In this was originally my bedroom, and I always wanted to have cold water in my bedroom so that like when you're hungover.
I had a mini fridge when I was a teenager, and it was the best thing in my entire life.
It's so good. Yeah. It's just like all your shit's there.
Yeah.
And like plus like everyone's been asking me why I said on Snapchat that I keep my weed in the freezer. It's because I don't smoke flowers very often. So when I do,
it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh for longer. Yeah. Like I'm not blowing through an eighth in a week the way I
jars.
used to.
I keep it in jars.
Yeah.
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 And I went and bought like a million mason. Well, because I only buy like little amounts. And but all different kinds. So now I just have like 50,000 little mason jars. And so I end up giving it like cleaning house, doing weed spring cleaning.
I do. I love a jar.
Yeah.
I love having jars, man. Yeah. I wash out everything. I save everything. Okay. So, beside the fact that you have tons of jars, what are your 3 reasons why you're qualified to give advice on today's show? Bless you.
I used to have an advice show on East Village Radio called Best Bar Mitzvah Ever.
I remember East Village Radio.
Yeah, with me and my husband. It was awesome. Yeah. And we did like 4-hour-long advice shows. And this is before people could call in. So we would just have people email in letters and then we would just read them in weird voices. And it would be 4 hours, no music, just 4 hours of us talking. And then I also had a column in alternative press for a couple years, a he said she said column.
That's awesome. So you're actually qualified to give advice.
Mildly. And then in terms of like just experience, I've like had sex with more people than most guys I know, and I lost count after like in the 300s. So I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah, I really played the field.
Love that.
And I know a lot about boys. I know a lot about girls. I like helping teenagers finding themselves, and I like giving
What about adults help in finding themselves?
I feel like they need to do that themselves. No, I'm kidding. No, I think I understand the teenage heart a little better than adults I'm still navigating. So I feel like because I've been there, I feel better giving.
I just watched 13 Reasons Why, and I'm going to tell you something. Being a fucking child is lousy. Like, I can't imagine what it is terrible because everything is so important.
Yeah.
And
I remember it. Do you remember it?
Yeah. I just how much significance it held, and that show was like torturous for me to watch.
I'm on episode 2.
I feel it. You know what I mean? Like the way that I compare it to My So-Called Life, which is a very generous comparison, I think, because it's probably one of the best shows ever made. But
I have a hard time watching stuff like that because I have a really good memory and I have a good emotional memory as well.
Yeah.
So when I think about things that like what it was like to be back then, it's like it's like putting myself through torture because I can feel what I was feeling. As strong as I was feeling it at that time. So teenage stuff is really hard.
It's hard, dude. It's a fucking lousy time in life, and it sucks that's like everyone's initiation.
Yeah. But I also had a really good time. I think I sucked a lot of fun dicks. You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wags
you agree,
Wags?
No, I thought that was an encouragement.
Wags.
I thought that was a you go, girl.
Yeah.
Wags, you're sex positive. Yeah. We're sex positive here. Lie down. All right. Did you give me all your reasons?
I gave I think there were 3 in there for sure.
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons in there. That was great. Yeah. Okay, so what we do is we take people's calls. A lot of lost souls call into this podcast. Also, not so lost souls. Sometimes they're fun. I don't know what we're gonna get today. Christina, we have good calls.
Yeah, we got a mix of things.
All right,
it's gonna be good.
Let's take it. All right, let's do it.
Hi, Chantal. I was wondering if Chantal Claret was planning to go on tour. I don't know what else to say. Bye, thank you.
Not so much an advice question, but a good question. Are you going on tour?
I am not going on tour, and I'll tell you why. It's really expensive, and that's pretty much the answer. I just don't, and also I can't be bothered.
What do you mean it's really expensive? Aren't you supposed to make money touring?
Well, you have to spend money, and that's
money,
all.
Right.
And that old saying.
Well, it's also like when you have a big
and if it's all out of pocket, a lot of people have labels who pay for that, and unfortunately, I'm all out of pocket. And to me, that I would rather stay home and make a video than spend all that money. Like it costs a shit ton of money.
You're not on a label?
No,
that's amazing that you do all of this shit yourself, girl.
Yeah.
So you,
really
you
tiring.
do have agents and managers and stuff like that.
For acting.
I would, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say with something like Catfish, for example, I would think that was
well, that
a
just
label
happened.
Putting you through
No,
PR.
that was literally just Max texting me, being like, hey, do you want to come co-host on Catfish? That has nothing to do with any... there was
How do you know Max?
I've known Max since 9th grade. We went to high school together.
Did he have gray hair in 9th grade?
He got, in high school, he got gray hair. Damn. At the end, he's been a silver fox the whole time.
I love that.
But he was the sweetest guy. Everybody loved him. He was the guy everybody liked. And so we always got along really well.
That's hot.
Yeah. And so we had such a great time filming it.
That's really fun.
Yeah. We really, really have a good rapport.
That's really fun.
What are you working on now, music-wise?
I just released an EP called "Let's Pretend Everything's Okay," and then it
how timely for
well, no, that's what. Well, because I had actually written these songs a while ago, and so it feels really inappropriate to release anything that isn't about the times. And so I was like, well, I want to put these songs out because they were also coming out on Catfish, and I was like, how do I fucking put these songs that have no relevance to any of the political climate? And I was like, well, we'll just pretend everything's okay. Whatever.
I think that it's good marketing wise to do that, but I do think that entertainment is escapism. I think there's one thing to be aware, but I think that if everyone's putting out very heavy art,
but I don't think anybody is yet.
No,
and
but
I
think the movie scene and the television scene in the next year, 2 years is going to be heavily influenced by the election.
I actually think the opposite. I think La La Land is going to make, it's going to be all escapism. I think that's the return of Gene Kelly and all that World War II. I mean, if you look at all that stuff, that's when Chaplin was biggest.
But then Moonlight winning the Oscar at the same time, I feel like that's what I'm saying. I think it's people want revenge, and art has always been a great way of saying fuck you.
Totally.
But you're right. No, I think
it's going to be both for sure.
Yeah, I think that you did. I mean, I think that's a good way to do it. To one, address the issue. I'm putting out an EP in the middle of a shitstorm, but also to have people want more of the stuff they enjoy.
Yeah,
right now.
And I can see that, but for me, it feels inauthentic to do anything but. Because I'm what the fuck is going on?
I've already cried this morning about, did you see that 16-year-old in Arizona, confronting the senator over, Planned Parenthood, and it was, a town hall meeting or something?
Was it the one she was saying, I'm
yeah.
Oh, she was 16?
She's 16. She said, I'm a 16-year-old girl from Arizona.
Oh, I didn't hear the first sentence.
Yeah, and I didn't hear it the first time either, and so when I went back and listened to it, and I was like, oh, she's 16.
What did she say?
She basically was just saying, I am a woman of color from a background without privilege, and you're a white man who has privilege, and
how can you take away my right?
Birth control is something that is the only thing that's going to, one of the many things that can help me get ahead in this world, and why do you think you have the right to take that away from me, as a white man of privilege? And he tried to be well, I'm one of 11 children, and I didn't grow up privileged, and
and also you're one of 11 children.
Yeah, and also you're inherently privileged, it just in your
I don't want to break your
breathing of
chair.
air, you are inherently privileged. So
that's a concept that's really hard for them to get.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What do you mean by them?
White men.
White men in general?
Yeah.
I think
And white women
conservative
too,
white
also.
men too.
I mean,
Yeah,
white
sorry,
women,
conservative. Yeah.
Because I just think I do feel bad. Like, because there's some white guys that are fucking great people.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I know that they probably feel probably very personally attacked right now, but also aware of their privilege. And I do feel bad for like my friends that are very woke and like never have taken for granted that their life has been made easier.
I also understand. I mean, like, I think if they are, I hate saying the word. I can't say it. I can't say woke with like me saying woke is not
You don't like
a good
it?
look. I just can't sell it. You know what I mean? It's just like I can't. I tried. I'm like woke.
I was thinking about this concept recently of like performative wokeness.
What does that mean?
Like, instead
It's
of
like, my white privilege, I just say, and when you say it around, when you make it a point to say it out loud and to say it around a person of color, that's like being very performative.
Yeah. I mean, I think that some people also do it too because it is performative, but people don't know how to say like, hey, just so you know, I know. Like, I'm in on it. I
cool.
understand that like this is like not cool.
You know how you do that though? Like, then just listen to your friend when they're talking about something that they've experienced as prejudice.
Yeah.
And don't like try to investigate or quantify if it actually is prejudice. Like, don't question if it's racist. They're like, no, not everything is racist when they're complaining to you about something. I've had those experiences when I was talking to a friend and I was like, hey, this is happening because I am a woman of color. And they're like, I don't think that person meant by that. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I live in this body 24/7. I recognize these little things. Trust me when I say that this is because of who I am.
But what if they're trying to do that and say, oh, my white privilege? Like, I mean, those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the way you show you're a good ally is to try to, like, just listen.
Yeah.
Not to declare, like, look at these things that I have. I hate that the world is this way. Like, I understand that impulse.
Yeah.
But it's better just to be silent and listen and, like, try your best to empathize with them.
And also, no one really hates being privileged. Like, let's just put that out there.
Yeah, it's
like,
done wonderful.
That's a false notion that, like, you
If
would
they
rather
did, they wouldn't be
not
fighting.
That's like the Lena Dunham, I wish I had an abortion moment. It's like, no, you don't fucking wish that. Like, you wouldn't wish that. Like, you wouldn't trade being white right now. Like, I don't think anyone would suggest you say that, you know? So it's just weird. I don't know. Fucking stupid world.
Weird pivot, though. On last week's show, we were talking about the difficulties of doing a cat eye. And you have such a good one.
Thank you. That is so weird.
I was staring at it while you were talking. Not to sound like a total creep, because I just stare at people while I'm doing this.
You negged your eyebrows, but you didn't think about your amazing cat eye.
Well, listen, it's the only thing I know how to do. I have one look, and it's cat eye. And since I was 14 years old, it's the only thing.
How do you know?
It's the only thing I taught myself. Like, I can't put on fake eyelashes. I can't try funky shit. This is all I got.
What's your trick?
That's the one to have.
I hold my eye, which I don't think you're supposed to do. And so this is my trick. And then I just draw a line starting in the middle. I draw a little line. And it depends on the brush you use.
You start in the middle.
You draw a line up, and then you connect it from the bottom of the outer lash back to the top of the line, if that makes sense. So it's like a little triangle. Then you fill it in, and then you do from the inner eye out to connect.
So do you use like a little makeup brush and like something in a pot, or do you use one of those
Just a pre, which one is it? Like, it's like a 24-hour or something. Or
okay.
That never comes off.
Yeah.
The sweating when you
Is
perform.
it like a pen or a brush?
It's a pen. It's like a pen with crazy ass stuff. I think it might be a Kat Von D or so far. I don't know. Something
I
crazy.
do think that if you know how to do that, you should be investing in like a Kat Von D moment or something.
Yeah.
Just something expensive. Like,
yeah,
you don't
I
wanna
treat myself when it comes
Fuck
to this.
yeah,
But
if
that's
that's
about
your
it.
move, like, that's great.
That's all I got.
Your skin is amazing too.
Well,
I really
I just
can't
went and
get
got a
over
facial
it.
because I'm going to a crazy premiere on Wednesday. So
your skin looks
I gotta
great.
look like a baby.
After a facial, I'm always like a little bit more like broken out.
Well, I asked her, I was like, when do I come to see you so I look good for Wednesday? And she was like, okay, come see me.
What's the premiere?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah, my husband's in it.
Very cool.
And he did some makeup. Or not makeup, music. He did some music. Yeah, so he's in it.
That's huge.
Yeah, and all of our friends
That's a
are
big
in
movie.
it. Yeah.
I've heard of that movie.
I may have been in it, but I also may have gotten cut out.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Go see the movie.
Is that when you find out?
No, I know.
You know you got cut out? Yeah. Okay.
It's all right.
No, but can you imagine like thinking you're in
DVD
it
extra.
and going and doing like the red carpet and like,
thinking you're in
it and
that
then
happens
not
to people,
I
right?
know. This is a really ugly business.
That's so sad.
Like I need to tell you, but just so you know, this is a tough business and it's really ugly here. Yeah, it's like really. I
was thinking about that. I was like, this place is dark.
tough.
Sometimes
It seems really sad.
It's inherently dark.
Yeah.
Like it's not just something.
You grew up here, right?
No, I'm from Boston.
Boston.
Oh no, I don't know shit about shit.
When did you move here?
11 years ago. That's probably why. And also my voice has taken on accents from every part of this country. So I can sound Southern sometimes. I sound slightly Midwestern sometimes. I sound very East Coast.
Yeah,
and
I don't
also
hear your
a
Boston
Valley girl.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a Boston accent. I never did. But I hate it when people are like, you don't have a Boston accent, and it's like, do you know who has a Boston accent? Like, you had to like grow up in this city.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have a whole family that has accents. I have a family that has
I feel
accents,
like there are
but
subtleties sometimes.
I'm sure, yeah.
There are you have a very nuanced
thanks.
Bostonian accent.
But my cousin Liz like fully had the thickest Boston accent for years and just dropped it. And I didn't even realize, like, to me, when she was talking to me recently, I was still hearing the Boston accent and it wasn't occurring to me that it wasn't there anymore.
That's
And then she said, no, I don't have one anymore. And I was like, wait, keep talking. Oh shit, you don't. Like, you got rid of it. How'd you do that?
Did she take classes or did she like conscious?
No, you just have to be conscious of it. I mean, like in the summers, I used to slip into a Boston accent because I'd be around a lot of kids who had them.
I just like that sentence.
In the summer.
I'd slip
Well,
into
you're from New York and your accent isn't very prominent.
Yeah, but Manhattan doesn't really have much of an accent. Like I was actually thinking, yeah, you don't have like, but there's an accent in Bay Ridge,
I
right?
worked really
Christina
hard.
can't have an accent.
I worked really hard at not.
Why?
doing it.
Why can't you?
Because it was a mix of a lot of things. It was like an impediment to like people were paying attention of how I was saying things and not what I was saying.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so it always, even with people I know for a long time, it still makes them pause when I say something that's like, instead of saying strawberry, I would say strawberry. You know, like it's just like,
oh, I love it.
and they're like, oh my God. And then like, it's like whatever I was saying goes out the window and it like completely changes the topic of conversation. And the other reason was because I think people associate that accent with a certain economic status.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want them to have anything else to judge me on.
Yeah.
You know, because like by the sheer virtue of my name and like the color of my skin, they can already make assumptions. So I didn't want to give them another thing, like where I come from or what my economic status might be.
I'm sorry.
By talking that way.
I'm sorry you even have to consider that.
I know, because I also love it when you have your accent. I love it when you'll just like let it fly sometimes.
Yeah, usually when I'm drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
That's
mad.
Yeah.
I love drunk people's accents coming out. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
I have
when
a
I'm
British
drunk,
friend
I'm
who's
Southern.
Like very prim and proper, and then when she's like, "All right, what fucking no, come on," man. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I got drunk with a coworker one time, and he was like, "You sounded like a goddamn b-boy."
I'm into that.
That is really funny.
Well, now I feel extra bad though because I do make fun of my friend Marlo, who has a Jersey accent, but she only says it when she says like Jaguar, and so she's like Jaguar, and I'm like, ha ha ha, say it again.
I mean, if it's your friend, you can give them shit. You know what I mean?
Wags doesn't like joy.
Oh, Wags, why?
Since you might have been enjoying
I was. You were right, Wags. You got that extra
Yeah, it's
sensory
not like
perception.
I'm giving people like don't make fun of anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't want to be a total killjoy. And it's fine if
I will make fun of people.
Yeah, it's fine if my friends like have fun with me about it. But like for everybody
What
else,
words do you give us an impression of your drunk self?
Oh, I can tell you words that I have to like very careful. And I still there's like I can't say drawer the right way.
Drawer.
I can hear you
Drawer.
self-correcting because I know you so well that I can hear when you're like being conscious of
Drawer.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
author.
Yeah.
Wait, Author.
Author
Ugh.
instead of like author.
I'm sorry. You have to think
Author.
about these things.
Author is how I say it.
Yeah.
legs and
Like it begins
eggs.
with an
Like
O.
I used to say autism instead of autism, which is what it is.
Yeah,
Autism. Oh my God.
It just makes me think of home, though,
That
so I
makes
love
me think
it.
of my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, it does.
I sound like, when I'm drunk, I sound like Marissa Tomei.
What a joy! You should be drunk 24/7.
It was the
know.
Buick Skylark.
She very rarely drinks too. So like when she came on my Lifetime podcast, I was so happy because I got her a little drunk and I was just like, fuck yes. This is like my favorite thing is Christina just like cutting loose.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
rarely
because like
get
when
it.
I do it, I do it.
You do it for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's like you have like one drink and you're like start to feel it. And then, like, I remember you were like, I've had 2 wines. And I'm like, and for me, like, you were like, that's me on 6. Like, that's me on like my 6th glass.
Because I
of
never
wine.
drank.
Yeah, I know.
It
It's
goes down
really
quick, your
good.
tolerance, if you don't keep it up. You have
Yeah.
to work hard.
True story.
I don't think that's something you should work hard toward.
No,
You're
no,
right.
No.
That's why I quit drinking. 'cause
Unless
I
you're
was-
in college, I guess.
was really good at it.
Yeah, like when you're in college and you're like, God, I gotta get my tolerance up. Like that was definitely like a thing.
Yeah,
in
that was a
college.
thing.
You're like, I'm getting shit faced off of 1 beer. Like I'm a fucking pussy. Like I gotta suck it up. Like I'm just gonna start shotgunning and booting and rallying
This is
everywhere.
bringing me back.
Dude, boot and rally.
Wait, I don't know what that is.
I never
What is
booted
that?
rally in my
Honey,
entire
boot
life.
and rally.
I didn't live
That's
in
how
like
I got through
dorms.
college. Is the boot and rally.
What is that?
So
Oh,
it's-
throw up and keep
Yeah,
going. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I call it like in my, because I wasn't with people that were doing it. I call it like my like Roman, like I was like, I'm a, what do you call it when you just keep living or how am I forgetting, blanking on the word where
I'm not gonna remember it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, where you just do it and you keep going or you there's a term for it. Anyways.
Someone at home is screaming
Yeah.
at themselves right now.
Oh, they'll scream into our hotline too. Don't
Please scream into the hotline 323-450-7408. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll get right back to our calls.
Hi, Malls, guest, and Christina. I called a few days ago, but I kind of wanted to call because I was driving then, I felt like maybe you couldn't hear me. So my dilemma or question is, I'm 21 years old. I go to college at a pretty well-known school for like broadcasting. I live with a family member who aren't like my parents because to kind of save money. And my parents live outside of the country. I actually just moved to this country a couple of years ago. And I am 21 and I have never dated or anything like that. I don't have that many friends. I have an 8 o'clock curfew. So I guess that probably contributes to one of the reasons why I haven't dated. I work full time, like a 9-to-5 job, and I go to school at night. And I do stuff for like broadcasting on the side as well, and like internship and stuff like that. So I am pretty busy, and I am looking at moving out though, so hopefully that will help my social life. But my question is, how can I start like dating? I know like I'm really young, but I want to get married and have kids and all that jazz. I also like want to be on TV one day. But I do want to get married and have kids, and I just want to start dating. And I've done stuff, like I'm not like completely innocent, like I've done stuff with guys and stuff like that. I use Tinder and social like POF and like all these random dating websites to meet people and hang out with them. But all of them were just like looking to do like one thing and not really interested in like a long-term thing. So just trying to figure out. And in terms of, like, I don't know, like, if I'm, like, I don't know, like, grotesquely, like, overweight or if I don't, like, there's nothing really, like, wrong with me. Like, everybody who I ever tell, like, I haven't dated is, like, always, like, really surprised. So, I mean, I don't really know why. I think it's mainly because, like, I don't know anybody. Because, obviously, like I said, I just moved to this country, but I want to start. You guys are awesome. I love listening to your podcast. I'm pretty sure that you guys can help me figure this out. Thank you so much. Love the podcast. You guys inspire me every week, especially as somebody who, like, just moved back to the U.S. It's great to, like, hear people who are, like, purely, like, L.A. and just talking about their lives. It's awesome. Love you guys. Bye.
Christina just said that she would love to know what country she moved from, and I was like, me too, because it could only be Canada because she has no accent. But then I was like,
then she said move back.
So I'm like, I have no idea where she was.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm so curious.
Also, like, okay, so my first thought always goes to with dating and stuff like this. Very relatable plight, by the way. 8 p.m. curfew, not relatable.
Oof, that's rough.
Unclear who the fuck is putting a curfew on you. I mean,
Well,
I
she
guess
said she lives with her parents.
no, a family member who's not her parent because her parents live out of the country. So, I mean, like, it seems like her aunt or whoever she's living with is like putting down an 8 p.m. curfew, which could be a cultural thing, could just be they're old and they don't want people coming in and out. But that's like brutal. That's not really like, you know, that kind of limits you to daytime hookups and coffee dates, which is weird. I mean, it's just weird when you're going on a date. It's just unless you know someone. I was gonna say like Tinder would be my go-to in this, but because of your inexperience, I think that you need to stay away from something like that.
100%.
You're in college. Like, you're never gonna be around that many young people in one condensed place again. Take advantage of that. Like, are there any hot guys at school?
I have a question. I haven't been single in an obscenely long time. What are the other options besides Tinder and Plenty of Fish? Are there any legitimate online places that aren't just for hooking up?
Well, like the traditional answer to that is like there's OkCupid, but I would say people are there for 50-50 reasons. I actually like, did I just tell this on this podcast that like I came home one day and my old roommate and our friend was there, like, and they were both filling out OkCupid profiles, and I asked her why she was joining, and she's like, I want to find a relationship. And I asked him, he's like, I just want to hook up. And I was like, do you understand that this is what?
Why can't there be a very clear separation in sight? I mean, it's
right.
Hooked. That's the app.
Yeah.
I think Bumble might be okay for you because the women is in charge on Bumble. So like you match with a guy, you have 24 hours to reach out to him. If you don't hit him up within 24 hours, then he disappears from your match list. So it's like really on you to be proactive, but you're not going to get a guy sending you a dick pic unless you initiate a conversation with him. I think the other options are the serious dating one is Match.com.
Yeah.
Like that's where you go if you want a husband. But this girl's 21 years old. You don't need to join Match.com.
No.
Like that's like literally like having a 401k at age 19. Like it just doesn't make sense.
I might be inferring, but it seems like there may potentially, I think you're right, there may be some cultural things going on because because she even went so far as saying like, I do want all those things in the future. And I mean, to be 21 and even thinking about that and having an 8 p.m. curfew. Yeah. Like, so you did?
When I was 21, I was like, I want to get married someday. Yeah. And I mean, I also went to Boston College where we sat in a fucking auditorium and like they said, like, look to your left, look to your right. Like the traditional thing would be one of these people won't be here when we graduate. But instead of BC, it was one of the people next to you will find their spouse at Boston College.
But see, that's cultural for you. So you did think about that in the same way. Like I didn't think about that growing up. I never, when I was 21.
You didn't think like, oh, I'd like to get married someday?
Nope.
What?
No.
You didn't just see married people and think like, oh, maybe one day I will get
never
married.
Considered it. I was like,
because you were turned off by marriage. Or
yeah, I was like, this is the worst.
So you were like anti.
Anti-marriage.
Okay, got
Are
it.
your parents not together? Or?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I will never get married.
But that's also like I mean, I would say that's almost the exception.
Yeah,
is that like for people to be like,
no, most people I know. Well, I guess most people I know come from divorced couples. That seems to be the rarity. Your parents are still together?
No, I had a single mom. My parents were never together.
My parents are still together.
It's interesting.
But
and like they like each other.
Yeah.
realized that my desire, I think in my 20s, I wanted every hookup to turn into a relationship. And I think that I was positive that I was going to get married and then I was going to have kids. And then I've talked about this a lot on the podcast, is that like in the last maybe couple years or so, it's occurred to me that might not be my journey. And not only is that okay, but like I'm very comfortable with that. And to, just have a kid or to just get married to someone is a very rash,
yeah.
life-changing decision that is full of expenses and emotional, like financial and emotional. Like, yeah, it's just a fucking lot. Like, it's a huge deal to get married, to commit to someone, or to have a kid or whatever. I think having a kid is the biggest one, but marriage really like is it's a fucking doozy. So I don't know. I don't feel the need to get married anymore. But point is, one thing I was thinking when she called is that maybe she just needs to be in her work right now and not really worry about that, because I did find that coming into some semblance of success alleviated that desire for me almost completely. And I realized that maybe the entire time I was just secretly worried about not being able to take care of myself forever. And I thought if I got married, then I would have some form of security. I think it was a very primal thing. But like, I don't know. What do you want to hook up? Do you want a relationship? What did she say? She just wants to like meet. She wants to be in the mix.
To meet people, but
I think she wants a relation. She wants to meet someone that would turn into a relationship. But it's like
she also knows she's not going to meet her spouse right now.
Yeah, so it's like just like you have to do the work for through your internships to do your career. You also have to do the work that way when it comes to dating.
Yes.
And so it's like you can't be methodical about it, especially at your age. You should date to practice. It's like seeing it as a practice way.
Yeah,
just
I
get as many dates as you can.
And also, it really doesn't sound like she has the time to put that. You have to make time to do that. And I think if she wants to get practice just talking and communicating, I say keep it online. You know what I mean? Just like have some online relationships for a while, and then maybe
make sure you don't get catfish.
No, don't get catfish. Definitely have some video chats, but like and get to know somebody, like court with somebody. So
if
that
their
when you
camera
meet
doesn't
them,
work, don't follow.
100 reverse image search, do all the tricks.
But I will say that you are going to in life, you're going to attract the people who are at your level. So where you're at right now, I really think that you might want to get into an apartment on your own. You know, maybe want to be doing that stuff. And that is going to be the better headspace for you, because you don't want to like not be able to bring a guy home, or like not just so you can like fuck him or whatever, but like, like the best part of being in a relationship is just like fucking kicking back with someone and get very anal about like people talking about watching TV with their significant other, because I'm like, that's a bad habit. Like, that's a trap.
Why?
Because I think that it can just it can really fuck up a relationship if your go-to is sitting on the couch and eating.
What if your go-to is laying in bed and eating and watching TV?
I mean, look, you're married. You guys obviously have something that works, but I think in your standard dating relationship, you always know when things are going downhill, when you stop taking time to do date night and like get dressed up and go out of the house. And like also time by yourself with your friends, time going out with your friends as a couple, like those things are very fucking important. I always say you got to take your relationship out on wheels. Like take it out and see, does this survive in this situation? Does this survive in this situation? And expose it to as many things as possible, because in life you will be exposed to many things regardless. So when people treat their relationship and they keep it in like a little incubator, it like that triggers me. It does. It triggers me. I get very like, what are you doing? Like, this can't be healthy. Like, this isn't good. And also I was thinking about this today. Ready? A lot of the people I know whose parents are still together, your parents are an exception, they're like proud of it. But I'm like, your parents are codependent freaks. Like, they don't have friends.
I love my husband's parents. They've been together for like 50 years. And
again, not all couples.
Yeah. I don't know. If you've made it 50 plus years, you deserve that. I don't know.
Sure,
I'm giving it.
But I like it if they have their own friends.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of couples don't. They just kind of like, they get together when they're 18 and they just fucking check out. Like, I had one of my best friends growing up, I never understood her parents. They sat at home every weekend. They hung out with each other. I never saw them talking to other people. And then at one point I asked her, I was like, what's up with your parents? She's like, they don't really have other friends. And I was like, got it.
I get it though too. From the perspective of my favorite person in the entire world is my husband. Like, I love hanging out with that motherfucker. Like, he's my best friend, and yeah, we have our own interests, our own hobbies, and our own friends, but like everything is more fun with him.
Yeah.
And like to not do stuff with him, even though we both have even though we have a lot of different interests, even if he's going to comic book stores all day, it's fucking fun because we're together, you know? Like, so I get both of them.
Which comic book stores do they go to?
We go to all of ones in the valley, all over. We just everywhere.
I will also throw out though too
Yeah.
that you guys are in this business, and I think that having an ally in this town or in this business is like, I notice that a lot in this business. Like, it's sticking with your spouse is like a very good thing to do.
Oh yeah,
you
like
know, you need a life raft here.
Is he like your sanctuary?
Yeah, he's my we're each other's best friends, safety, everything.
space.
Yeah, like we're each other's safe space.
don't know that
Equality rocks in our house.
I don't know that you need that.
No,
in other
I
parts.
don't-
No,
no,
not
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying I don't know if the average person needs a fucking road dog with them.
Totally.
You know, because
Yeah.
that's like you should. I mean, I think that it's
And we also are an exception itself because people get married because of our relationship all the time, which I'm like, that's the worst. That makes our skin crawl because we're like, dude, it's different.
People have said that about my parents too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. They're like, we see how great your marriage is, and I'm like, whoa, like,
I
do
had
not give
someone that
us.
got married.
like fans or friends.
Both, like just.
I knew someone who got married on the same day as my parents
Wow.
because they thought it would like bring them good luck.
That's
It
creepy.
did not.
That's really.
It did not, but yes.
Were they related to you?
Like basically, like it was like someone that we grew up with in the neighborhood.
Weird.
What day did your parents get married?
June 28th.
I'm gonna get my second marriage that day. Just bring me luck.
Yep. To Billy Joel's.
How
And
did
their
you
song
meet-
was Billy Joel's "Don't Go Changing."
The same as your parents?
No.
it?
That was my parents' song.
Oh,
Billy
okay.
Joel's "Don't Go Changing." It still makes me like choke up a little bit when I hear it. And then I found out he hates performing that song.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it reminds him of his ex-wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's such a good song.
I gotta hear. Oh, don't go changing.
Yeah.
just the way you are, babe. But wait, how did you and your husband meet?
On tour.
Okay.
Yeah, my band opened for him 12 years ago to the day. Well, a couple days ago. 12 years ago.
Wow. What
Yeah.
did you guys do for your anniversary?
Well, it was just our anniversary of meeting, so we just kissed all over the place. But for our anniversary, we were in New Zealand, and we were stuck in a weather bomb on the South Island of New Zealand.
Oh God.
Yeah, for this one. Next year, we'll be in
Romantic.
New Zealand too.
So you didn't want to get married. Like, what was it? How did you change your mind about it?
It was just him. He was just the right, like, boyfriend wasn't good enough anymore, and like it wasn't the thing. And we're like, how can we take this further? Like,
There are those people like a Goldie Hawn situation where they're like, it is what it is. Like this, we don't need that.
yeah, and it would have worked too, but we both, neither one, and he was 35 when he's much older than me. And he had gone his whole life with never being engaged, 35, but being in serious relationships. And he never wanted to get married, never met the right person. And we're just like, it's you.
Did you meet at 35? When he was 35?
I was 22
but I mean, was he 35 when you met or
Yeah.
when you got engaged?
when we met.
Oh.
Yeah. So it
I
was
still
just
have time.
We were holding. Oh, you've got
I know, I'm
everybody.
just kidding.
Listen, my mom's. My stepfather. He's 18 years younger than my mom. He was 18. He was fresh off the boat, Italian. She was 44 and he was 26, fresh from Italy. So there's always time.
I like
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is.
He didn't speak one word of English, so they had a
was
lot
like,
in
What
common.
was
Wedding
there
planner.
like?
Yeah. What do you think?
What was there like?
Connection?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what did they do? Like, how did they speak to
What
each
do you
other?
think?
I mean, I know they just boned, but like, what?
That's all you need to know.
That's okay. Got
and
it.
I found the Polaroids
no
on my bed sheets.
No.
Yes.
Wait, what? How
Yes.
did that happen? Wait, what?
I'll be in the car.
Yeah. Seared in my eyelids.
How old were you?
Old, too old.
Oh, thank God!
Too
Though, if
old.
you were 12
Oh,
or
no,
something.
that's around how old?
Oh,
Wait,
no,
that's around
that's
how old
exactly
I was.
the wrong
I was like,
age.
is it? Oh, but they were in like in my mom's closet in like an envelope marked like private, do not open. I'm like, oh, that means open. And then like opened up another envelope, private, do not open. I'm like, well, that means 100% Chantal, you got to open this. Third envelope, sealed, private, open up Polaroids, full on penetration.
No!
Yeah. of on my bed sheets. Why? Why are my bed sheets everywhere around?
No, why would they do it on your bed?
I don't
Not
know.
on your bed or on your sheets. Like they had your sheets on their bed.
Nope, it was on my bed.
Oh my god!
I know because I had very clearly marked little train engine sheets, so it was really.
Wags is not happy about.
Yeah, listen, you
This
and me
is
both, Wags.
Very unsoothing. That's rude as fuck.
What if I do it in ASMR voice?
Well, you
Will
know
make
how
this
it.
better?
You know how it is that. Why stop? You know how it is that. You know, you're just in a part of the house, and then things just fucking escalate.
Yeah.
And you're not like really thinking like, oh, this is my preteen daughter's bed. Oh,
No.
Is that how it goes?
I mean, you know, things escalate.
I thought you were explaining how I would open the envelopes, not how my mom
No.
would end up fucking on
No.
my bed. Enough even that you're taking a Polaroid
no, I
to
have
document
no
it.
question
That's the
about
other
how that
thing.
envelope got opened.
Like they couldn't have been that in the moment because
Yeah.
they stopped to take a
Yeah,
Polaroid.
hold on. Hold that pose. Hold that pose.
Were they maybe wasted or something?
like none of that's making any of this better.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think about like, but I know why you opened the envelope. Trust me,
Yeah.
I was a kid that like would sneak.
That's the one part of the story I understand is why I opened the envelope. The rest is
Does she know that happened?
no, she doesn't. And
I
neither
would
does
have
my
thrown them
stepfather.
in her face. I would have thrown the Polaroids in her face, like on my
You
bed,
would?
Mom. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Christina.
Would you have?
yeah.
visceral.
That's
Yeah.
not how I had my own secrets. I didn't need to bring them up.
Yeah, that is also the damn truth.
You don't
is
wanna
that
get
you
into-
can't- You got to keep your secret. I mean, trust me. Do you think that Kim Kardashian walked in on Caitlyn and didn't tell anyone for 15 years for a fucking reason? Because Kim has her own shit
Yeah.
she's going through, okay?
gotta-
She saw that. She clocked it. She was like, I see you. Got it. Me too. Or whatever.
Mutually
Like,
assured destruction.
yeah, I also have secrets. Bruce, Caitlyn, soon to be Caitlyn. All right. Well, anyway. Oh wait. Can we just talk about how fucking horrific that Survivor thing was? Did you?
Yes,
watch
I watched
the
it. I
clip?
do watch. I watch Survivor in general.
I
so-
don't, and so I had to like track down the clip because everyone is like Survivor contestant outed, and then you have to watch like some fake Maria Menounos like explain it.
It's
like,
the
on
only reality show.
people.com.
It's the only reality show I used to watch, and it's crazy. And I've watched that guy for both seasons, Zeke,
Who
and
are
he was
those
so
girls?
great.
Sorry,
Maria Menounos.
No, like just like all those girls that like are like, hey, it's from HuffPo Live. This is what happened this week. Last night someone was outed on Survivor.
yeah.
I'm like, who the fuck are you? How are you working and I'm not?
because they literally have just enough personality to read and talk, but not enough personality to like make people. They're like Coldplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not enough personality to make people get like mad about anything they say or infuse their own thing, but just enough personality to like sell what they're doing. Right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
It's really sad.
Christina's
But
very tickled.
He's
by
a
this.
great like guy. He seems great from his character and things.
Zeke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really fucked up.
It was really fucked up, and I do want to say that like what I was very fucking impressed by, and I talked about this on the Emotionally Broken Psychos Facebook group this week, mollyandthepsychos.com if you guys want to join, is that I am often someone who on this podcast am presented with a statement that really offends me, but I don't know what to do, and I know that I have to keep doing this show. You've done radio before. This is different than radio, and that we can edit, but like sometimes it's hard to react in the moment. And I was very, very proud of the way that everyone there was like, hey, that's fucking fucked up. That has nothing to do with this game. Like the way, I mean, not one person there was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
really?
except for the guy who did it.
Except for the guy who
was
did it,
Varner.
which-
But he slowly realized, like...
I mean, I love that Jeff Probst was like disgusted by him. He
Jeff
was like,
Probst is the best host of all time.
I would love if he would host. I think Chris Harrison is like 1 foot in, 1 foot out on The Bachelor. Basically, he has one toe left in The Bachelor.
What if they took The Bachelor and brought it to a Survivor element?
I think they did.
kind
Did
of
they
do that
have?
with Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah, and they also and they have like they've had those crazy shows like Fantasy Islandy ones where they take
Temptation
a
Island.
I
Temptation
loved
Island.
the first season of Temptation Island.
That
I
was
loved
it. Got like crazy, right?
Kaya.
Oh,
Do you remember Tammy? I did a show with Tammy. I think she was like on the second season or something, and she was the one that fought. Like she was famous for fighting. And then when they did that Kill Reality movie, she like had to get like removed from the house or something. She was like demoted to a lower role and was kicked out of the house.
But what I was going to say about the Survivor thing is that it also kind of showed like what the different levels of acceptance within the gay community is as well, because the guy who outed him was gay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like gay men are notoriously like brutal. I mean,
and his excuse, he was like, well, I thought he was out. Like he just didn't realize that the whole entire world was be watching and that everybody didn't know.
He must not have really felt that way because apparently Zeke never said that to him. It was something that he inferred through different tells. Some people are thinking that it might have been Zeke has minor, like, because breast reduction scars surgery are very limited. Like, they're very tiny, but you would have to almost, like, know what to look for. So, like, it was just very, like, it was weak. It was weak. It was like
and
weak.
His argument was horrible, where he was saying you're being deceptive, but everybody knows, and that it was such a flimsy bullshit. It was super fun.
And also for a trans person, like you're being the opposite of deceptive, like when you're living in your skin as yourself.
There were so many.
There's just like so many. It was so fucking problematic and so dark. And I read like a headline. I opened the article and started to read it, and it was like Varner in therapy after outing. And I was like, good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm sorry you have to go to therapy. Like, am I supposed to feel bad that you're in therapy? Like, that's how badly you were affected by this, like, horrible mistake you made? Like, you should fucking be in therapy to begin with. This is America. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for you.
I texted my therapist yesterday, and I was so happy she, like, replies back with words. As opposed to, I don't know what else she would reply back with, gifs.
Emojis.
The emoji. That would be amazing.
There is something very flattering about texting with your therapist. You're like, it just feels very good. You're like, oh, they love me.
I'm just like, thank you for sharing yourself with me, your valuable time. I don't know what she does in her off time, but, like, I really appreciate it.
Deep down, there's something narcissistic in all of us where we want our therapist to fucking love us.
My therapist does love, like, she thanks
too.
me all the time for coming to her, and she's like, I'm so honored. Like, this is very braggy right now, but she's like, thank you for, like, sharing yourself with me, and and I'm just like, but I also, then the inner me doesn't believe a word where I'm like, stop fucking lying to me. Like, I don't believe the compliment.
Do you ever feel like the voice in your side your head is an unreliable narrator?
100%.
Yeah.
The voice in everyone's head is an unreliable narrator. There's no more biased narration of anything than your own shit.
It's my greatest enemy.
My therapist has a really fucking amazing analogy that, because I'm obsessed with fairness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I'm obsessed. I get very like, I get angry on behalf of myself. I get angry on behalf of other people. I think like I get very mad when something's not fair or someone's not owning their shit. And my therapist is like, you need to stop doing that because you're just trying to get people to see your movie. She's like, we're all living in our own movie. Yeah. And she's like, no one's going to know your movie except for you. She's like, you have to accept that no one is seeing your movie except for you. And like, so... And ultimately, at the end of the day, one thing that I've learned that really fucking sucks is that no one gives a shit about the truth.
Yeah.
No one really cares about the truth. There's so many people would rather have you be polite and just like get through the thing and just be easy to work with or whatever. No one cares. Like, oh, this is like this is very unjust. This is like really fucked up. This is a bad thing to put out into the world. This is whatever. Yeah. No one cares about that. They just want you to be easy. Yeah. And that's it. And so... Mary and I work on that a lot. Like getting out of my fucking
Is
movie.
Mary your therapist?
Yeah, getting out of my fucking movie. Like it's just really I think it's everyone's disease. Is like
the problem is I don't think it's everyone's disease. I think if everybody was obsessed with justice or fairness, we'd be a much greater world. Or you mean being everybody's movie?
Trying to get everyone else to understand their movie. Yeah. Like your like to hear your narrator as themselves, like as their own.
But my question is, being just, isn't that the ability to see somebody else's, like, isn't that a sign of empathy to want justice for other people as opposed to just yourself?
But I mean, that's part of your movie. I think that's the lead in your movie.
Yeah,
like
you're a crusader.
Yeah, because there are people that don't. There are people that think that fairness doesn't exist. It shouldn't exist. And I mean, I had an ex that was obsessed with fairness, but in a childish way.
How so?
Like, he'd just be like, that's not fair. And I'd be like, a fair is a fucking carnival, dude. Yeah. Like, I don't know what the fuck you want to hear from me. Like, it's not, I don't know if it's, I know that may be an ugly thing.
But what do you look at as fair? So what's an example of
fair? An example of fair is I don't like it when people don't own who they are. And so they make judgments because they can't accept that behind closed doors, they're that way too. Or I get very like, that's one thing that really pisses me off is like how many people are like 100% worse than I am. And like, but like, because I actually say who I am out loud all the time, I think people think I'm a wild animal. But I'm like, no, you do the exact same thing. You just don't say it because you're afraid or because, I don't know, you were to have boundaries or something. Like, congratulations on having boundaries. Like, but you're not living your truth.
Yeah.
And like, that's to me is unfair. Or like, another thing that I think is unfair
But
is
that's also their journey to find their truth and comfortability. You know, that I can totally see that's your version of your, like, why can't everybody live like I do?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I think that, like, you know, I mean, obviously there's plenty of ways that it applies to our political landscape.
Yeah,
where I'm
100,
like,
that I
that's
understand,
just fucked. You know what I mean? But also, like, you know, anytime I have a friend, like, explains a situation to me with, like, a coworker that was shady or whatever else, I get really upset about that. Like, I feel like sometimes I see people quit things way too early because they're convinced that they can't win. And it's like, whoever, like, you're just buying in to people's shit.
Yeah.
Like, people are just telling you that, like, you can't do it or whatever, or that's not possible. Like, I get very angry when, you know, so you probably have dealt with this. Like, sometimes, you know, like, I'll be talking to a friend and, like, their rep will have told them, like, oh, you can't write that or you can't do that because so-and-so is doing this. And it's like, so don't fucking knock things out of people's hands.
Yeah.
Like, don't knock a toy out of a child's hand. Like, that's just fucking rude.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know. Just because, you know, X writer or whatever is writing a movie like this, it doesn't mean that your client's going, you know, like, that bothers
Remember that
me.
year it was all
Cutting someone off
volcano
at their
movies?
Yeah.
There were so many
Asteroid
volcano
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for the world. It all happens at once.
I just don't believe in, like, cutting someone off
Oh,
with their
yeah.
knees. Like, I get very upset with that. Bothers me. That 8 p.m. curfew is not fair. I'm upset about that.
8 p.m. What can you do by 8 p.m.? The sun's still out.
Fucking watch Jeopardy. Like, that's it.
Cra-
That's
8
all you
p.m.
can do.
That's like a fourth grader's, curfew.
Dude, like, come in when the street lights come on. Like, that's like this very similar.
That makes me think that it's, you know, that it's a cultural thing. Because, I know a lot of people that come from families where, like,
Or
they...
religious, like super
religious. Yeah.
But that's what I mean, culture.
Yeah, usually the two.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have a call. We have a letter. Chantal, do you want to read it?
Yes, you mean like an old time? This will bring me back.
Yeah, this is like this. Do you want to warm up your reading voice? Christina's gonna give you her phone.
Oh yeah. Hi. Any particular way I should read this?
Whatever.
I find that if you want to do a voice, that's fine, but it can be hard to maintain for a longer one.
It's not that, but I'll just read it clearly. Hi, Molly and Christina. I've been working at my current job for the last 9 months. Although I like the work and get on with my coworkers, I gradually have become uncomfortable. My coworkers and managers are all men, and they often speak about their personal, sexual lives to me, each other in the office. For example, the other day, my manager asked my coworker about the best blowjob he's had. Once in a team meeting, they have all started having a conversation about cheating on their girlfriends, shaving their pubes, and their sex lives. Although I don't say much during these convos and appear visually uncomfortable, they continue. I don't know if I'm being sensitive because I'm the only woman or if these conversations are normal in most offices. I'm a recent graduate and this is my first real professional job. I also wonder if it's because I was too appeasing at the start and allowed them to think I thought this was appropriate. I have no idea what to do since my managers are in on it. In fact, they're probably the worst. Is this normal? What would you advise me to do in this situation? P.S. Why don't they teach you these things in college? Best, Amy.
They need to teach like HR courses.
Yeah.
It's fucked up because, like, I had no idea, like, what HR did or what my rights were or what my ability to use HR was for most of my career until, like, I was really working in entertainment where HR is a lie. And it's just, like, a prop that's there.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the quality of HR is not consistent throughout any industry.
No, it's not consistent at all. And Dr. Laura Schlesinger's daughter actually has a master's degree in HR. Did you know that?
Well, we have a call about her coming up. So.
Oh, we do, about that old bigot. But I love her. I do. I can't.
Dr. Laura?
I love Dr. Laura. But I was gonna say, I think you need to quit if it really fucking bothers you.
I mean, I understand how that if there's nobody that you can go to for any recourse, then I would say find a better situation if possible. And
I would say, like, assess whether you really like that job. Then also assess the quality of your HR department. And if you deem it to be a responsible department, make a complaint.
I mean, if her managers are in on it, that kind of makes me feel like there is no HR department. But I don't know. I mean, I've been in jobs where the bosses were the absolute fucking biggest rule breakers.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be real with you. I think I would enjoy that kind of talk and find it funny, but that's me. I also know that for a lot of people, that's very, very triggering language. I don't know if you're actually, if you're actually upset by it, think of how you can best extract yourself from the situation. If you're merely concerned with the lack of professionalism and whether or not that's normal, and you know, like, you do find some humor in it, even though it's like uncomfortable, like, it doesn't really bother you. I don't know. I mean, for me personally, that's the way that I get on with people. And also, I want to say, you said get on with them well, which makes me think you're not from America, because get on's very British. We get on well. Like, we get on great. Like, that made me think that maybe she's British.
is there an option to say anything to them, to any one of them, saying
Yeah, I
that it
don't know.
doesn't
Maybe make a joke?
comfortable? Because I think there's always that option, and if they fire you, you can sue them for dismissing you because they were using
Retaliation, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that there's lots of options. I'm not going to
Maybe talk to a lawyer also and see what your rights
I
are.
know, because
God.
I've been in the situation where I have some male friends who make some women feel uncomfortable because they're very flirtatious, which, and I find it kind of funny because, you know, I like brash people, and even though it's not being brash, they're being overly flirtatious. So I just put the kibosh and I'm like, no, that's too far. And it's totally fine. And it doesn't bother me, but it makes other girls uncomfortable. And I totally understand that, but they never say anything. So I also understand how somebody could keep doing what they're doing. I'm not excusing anybody's behavior, but until you say something, sometimes people just have no idea. And it doesn't sound like these guys are necessarily the brightest people, but if you feel safe and they're friends enough, you can also say potentially, I don't like this.
Yeah, or just excuse yourself or see
Yeah.
if you can find a way. But I mean, it's hard when it's a meeting.
I
Like, you
totally
can't-
get, I believe me, I totally understand the implications of a workplace are hard, but you know, this is also a situation where it could be a growing experience for you where you're standing up for, you know, changing your workplace if you feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I hope it gets better. That sucks.
I feel bad though. You know, one thing I would say is I would hesitate to approach them seriously. I would try making a joke about it first, being like, oh, great. Is this the part of the day where we get to hear about you guys' pubes? Like,
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe say something like that and like kind of like let them know, like, I'm aware of this conversation and the fact that it's fucking, I shouldn't have to hear this. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't want to hear this, or at least like admit, like, this isn't, you know, a frat house. Like, we're not just sitting around like
Yeah.
talking about putting gold bond on our nuts or whatever they do.
But don't you think they would probably be like, oh, she's a humorless bitch? And so
Well,
they
that-
I think
that's-
if they went to her seriously, I think if she went to her bosses and said, I'm offended by
Yeah.
the talk of blowjobs
Yeah.
and that you cheat on your wives and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. If you went and said that, then you're a humorless bitch. That's what's going to get you slapped with that label, is
Yeah.
if you go into it. But if you make a joke about it, and I don't want to like propagate fucking basically misogyny. Like, I don't want to propagate that and say like, you know, you don't want to read as the humorless bitch. I'm just saying realistically, if you go and make a serious thing of it, they're going to be like, she's being a little too fucking serious. Like, this is obviously a place that that kind of comment is going to be, it's going to cause a hit to their comfortability, because that's the type of place that they're used to. And they're going to start
my
to feel
concern
like
was
they're
that they were
walking on
gonna joke
eggshells.
back in a cutting way, like saying that, something like that.
I mean, you know,
And then
all of
it's
these
not a
things are a
joke.
risk. Whatever the delivery system, whether it's funny, serious, sad, or whatever, or to a thing, I think I like to give people the opportunity to change before I make my, you know, like just made my opinion known or my feelings known, and then be like, well, now you can go fuck yourself. You know, like I let you know how I feel and whether it's funny or not in the delivery, you know, and now if you don't listen to that and respect that, now you can shit Shit your face off? I don't know what that means. I don't know. I hope you shit your face off.
It's like when you're really angry, but you don't want to
say something.
So you say like a collection of
shit your face off.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, like, call us back and let us know what you wind up doing.
Yeah, I love hearing.
I'm interested to know. Christina, I want to hear that fucking Dr. Laura call.
It's coming up next, guys.
Okay.
Hi, Malls, Christina, and guest. This question is primarily for Malls. I wanted to see if you could give an overview of what your journey with Dr. Laura has been like. You mention her a lot on the show. Is her radio show the inspiration for this podcast? What do you think she would think of the Please Advise Nation and those who call into the show? What questions would you want to ask her if you had her on the show? I think this could be a whole mini episode, but if you want to use it as a question, go ahead. Thanks so much. Bye.
Hi. Okay, so I grew up spending my summers in Duxbury, Massachusetts, and I also was an only child, and I was very, very into radio, mostly because at our summer house, we had a TV that had like 3 stations, and so there was not a lot of stuff on for kids. So I would listen to talk radio all the time. Now, I grew up in a Catholic, by default of the fact that I grew up mostly with my grandparents raising me, somewhat conservative home. And so Dr. Laura was played unironically when I was growing up. And I was very self-conscious about my existence when I would listen to Dr. Laura, because Dr. Laura does not believe in single parents. Dr. Laura would think that my entire existence is hugely problematic, and that my mom should have put me up for adoption. And I was very aware of that my entire childhood, just like thinking like Dr. Laura would not approve of my entire existence. My relationship with her is this. I am appalled by about 97% of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, and I watch her or listen to her the way that I watch certain reality television shows, where it's like, I'm just here to see, like, test the limits of like what information I can handle. And I have 2 good girlfriends that also are Dr. Laura obsessed, and we're all appalled by her. But like, you know, this week we were on a phone conversation, and one of my girlfriends that is in on this Dr. Laura thing. It's the 3 of us, and we're all like, we went to the Dr. Laura movie night in Sherman Oaks, and like that was kind of like what cemented this like group chat that we're all in. And after the election, Dr. Laura said something, I think, pretty overtly anti-Semitic, which is odd because she did go all the way to being an Orthodox Jew, but then stopped being Jewish altogether. She's now atheist.
What?
I don't know
she's
anything
atheist
about
now.
Dr. Laura.
Yeah. She's not religious at all. And so, but she was raised Christian, and she does have Christian leaning values. But she said something vaguely anti-Semitic after the election, and my friend, who is Jewish, but who anyone should be upset by an anti-Semitic comment, messaged the group, the 2 of us, and was like, I'm fucking done. Like, I've been listening to her for 25 years. I can't fucking do this anymore. I had my last straw with Dr. Laura. Now I'm sitting there in the back of my head going like, you'll be back. Like, we always come back.
What was the comment?
I wasn't listening that day. But she said something that was just like, it was just one of those like weak ass comparisons.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's like to compare blank to Nazi Germany is fucking offensive.
Yeah.
So, she wound up relapsing, and she messaged the group the other day, and we were like, you fucking started listening again. And like, I was like, no offense, I called it. Like, I knew you'd be back. We always come back. And the reason is that, and I said to my friends, like, look, like, I'm fucking appalled by this woman, but at least once a week, she does say at least one sentence that I sit there in my car and I'm like, damn. Like, that is some fucking knowledge you just dropped, girl. Like, that is
What's the last thing
I don't recall off the top of my head, but I remember there was recently one about relationships that really blew my mind. But I mean, she does have, if you follow like the vague steps of her system, she's not wrong in that will help your marriage. That will probably keep your marriage intact longer if you make a point to be loving and to show love to your husband and to be there for your kids and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That will help your marriage ultimately, right? That's not incorrect information. I know for a fact that Dr. Laura would hate me. And I know that to this day because there are so many things. I don't have a shack up honey. I don't need to have a shack up honey to know that Dr. Laura would not approve of many of my choices. That said, her daughter-in-law follows me on Instagram because I made an Instagram comment on her Instagram account after the Dr. Laura movie night where we watched Casablanca and did a Q&A after about the moral themes. And I wrote to her, I was like, Tracy, my friends and I were staring at your ass all night. And so Tracy followed me back. And whenever Tracy likes one of my photos, I feel overjoyed because someone who Dr. Laura approves of me. And I don't know why that is. It's something sick in me. Maybe it's something the middle school girl in me that wants the popular girls to like me. I don't know what it is. Not that they're popular, but I get off on it somehow. The inspiration for this podcast was my old advice column, Please Advise, which I did for I think I wrote like 7 of them, and then I got hired at Two Broke Girls. And as well as Savage Love, because Christina and I bonded over listening to Savage Love all the time. I am not an expert, though, the way that Dan is. I think that Dan is an expert through time spent on the radio and giving advice. Basically, I think that that's how he became an expert. Also, consuming information. He's not a psychologist or anything. And I also disagree with a lot of his advice. And I knew that that would be the case with us, too. We're not, I don't have a doctorate in marriage and family counseling the way that Dr. Laura does. I do appreciate her candidness. Like, I do appreciate that, someone will call feeling really fucking bad for themselves. And she said to some woman today, I was listening, she said, can you talk to me, but take the fucking whine out of your voice? Like, take the whininess out of your voice. You're driving me nuts. And sometimes I feel like saying that, or I have said things like that to callers, being like, your voice is fucking annoying. Like, you called sounding really fucking bad for yourself, and you need to work on that. Like, no one's allowed to luxuriate and feeling shitty about themselves for too long. Like, why did you have to bring that? Shouldn't you have been a little bit more about your business on the voicemail? I don't know. I get a little bit. So I do appreciate that part of her, and it's fun to hear people who respect Dr. Laura getting yelled at by Dr. Laura because they called because they really value her advice. And she, the person who values her advice, they're an interesting person to me. That's interesting to me. It's like watching a documentary on the Westboro Baptist Church. Do I want to live in the Westboro Baptist Church? No, but I'd certainly like to take a fucking peek. That is absolutely of interest to me. I'm very interested in the way the other half lives. Yeah. I truly am. And I think that I have tons of anthropological interests, in that I listen to a podcast about single parenting. I am not a parent. I was raised by a single parent. I don't even know kids. Yeah. But I don't know any. But so funny. I like it. Yeah. So I like to learn about people. Also, as a writer, it's hugely informative for me to understand how certain people's brains work. And also, you've heard me say more times on this pod than not, the election results fucking blew my mind. Yeah. I live in a bubble, right? When I tune into Dr. Laura, I'm not in that bubble and maybe I'm not in a bubble I like all of a sudden, in a bubble that I want to stay in, but I'm at least hearing thoughts come out of people's mouths that I don't hear in real life. And I need to know that's out there because it is a part of our country and it is a part of our world. And I think of talk radio as traveling sort of in a way, same way I think about podcasts. It's you get to go on this little escape. Sometimes I'll just lay in my room in the dark and listen to talk radio, and it feels fucking great. It's the best. It's one of my favorite things. It's calming.
You also grew up with it, so it's really instilled in your.
Yeah, it's being like, I don't have anything else like that where it's like, I can just listen to this one medium laying dead flat. Like, I can't even just watch TV. I'll be on my phone, but I can just listen to radio or just listen to a podcast. I don't just listen to music. Like, it's the one thing that I have in my life that it's like, I'm purely doing this and
Passively engaged.
yeah. And, but you know, that said, I also fucking love Howard Stern. Like, I have all of my favorites back home in Boston too. I also grew up trolling the fuck out of WRKO, which is our conservative talk radio station back home. My mom used to get calls from her friends being like, Molly's on Howie Carr again. Like, who's like our local Dr. Laura / like he's super fucking conservative. He is an insane person. Howie Carr is like OG crazy Boston shit. So yeah, I it's like a lifelong it's a lifelong history thing with me. And also, yeah, like I think anyone who is parked in front of a microphone for a living is doing something that I admire and that I want to do, and I think of it as like study. I think of it as a way of studying. You know, ultimately she is good at what she does, whether or not what she does is a good thing for the world or necessary is a completely different question. But ultimately she's a person who's good at her job. So, yeah, I like to watch people be good at their jobs. Yeah. I mean, but I've said, you hear me say that all the time. She's a fucking bigot. Like, I have never not prefaced, you know, I've never purely quoted her. I mean, I probably have once or twice. I don't often purely quote her without pointing out that I know she's a deeply problematic person who once in a while has a stroke of genius. And I like that she is there for the, you know, she believes in protecting, ultimately, she believes in, above all, protecting marriage and family, specifically children. And I do think I wish I had an advocate like her when I was a kid. That was like, this is what this child needs in order to... So
it seems like it makes you feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does. I think Dr. Laura makes me feel safe, which is fucking terrifying.
It's your safe space.
Safe space. I know. Equality rocks.
Equality does rock.
And Dr. Laura would not think equality rocks.
She would not go there.
That is really weird. That you're right. I think Dr. Laura is just a safe harbor for me. It's like something makes sense. I just
You described
know.
it all throughout your childhood as being this like solace for you and comforting.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, it legitimized my thing, which is that I also felt like my mom resented me a lot when I was a kid. And I felt like that completely legitimized that thought to me that maybe that was true. Like, no one else in my life would have ever said that to me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have brought it up to anyone else.
Yeah.
But like, it was something that I always thought about and always wondered. And when I would hear Dr. Laura wax poetic on like, just like how it's really fucking not great to like, it's not ideal to bring a child up in a single parent situation. It's just not ideal.
You thought she was like truth telling to you and like telling you like it was at the time.
I mean, I felt like she was like legitimizing my deep down like thoughts that like I couldn't bring up to anyone else and be like, does anyone else think it's fucked up that I have to feel bad about how hard my mom works?
Yeah.
Like, does anyone else think it's like fucked up that I'm burdened with that like guilt or that I feel like I'm a burden? Like, does anyone else think that that's fucked up? Because I personally think it's fucked up. None of my other friends have to deal with this.
Yeah.
So that was also like a big part of it for me, was that I had no one having these conversations with me or making me feel safe or making me feel like it was okay that I felt that way or pointing out that maybe I wasn't living the best possible existence I could. And that it was different from my friends who lived in different types of families. Even if their parents were divorced, like I didn't have a dad, like he wasn't around. So I kind of like kicked him out of my life. But like I knew him from 5 to 10.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like a great dude to have around. And so it was just.
Was that the last time you?
10, and then he died like a few years ago.
Sorry.
No, I don't care. I mean, I know that sounds terrible, but like I kind of don't. Like I didn't know him, and my time with him wasn't well spent. And honestly, like the way he passed, it was very obvious that my dad lived a life of pain, and he ultimately he died from drunk driving. He didn't die drunk driving. He died because he survived that drunk driving crash and then didn't take care of his wounds. And they got infected, and he died from an infection of his body because he was continuing to drink after his accident. So that is a person who's lived their life in a lot of pain, and I feel for that, you know, and I try to be thoughtful of it, you know, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, no, I also, this is the thing. I know that Dr. Laura would not love a lot of people in Please Advise Nation. I know that she would not take the care with a lot of you that I try to take, or like humanize you the way that I try to humanize you. Dr. Laura is very cut and dry. It doesn't matter what your circumstance is. You should not be living with someone before marriage. Like, you should not, you know, and I think there's something kind of fucking funny about it. I don't know. It's funny to me.
What kind of advice would she give to the woman who's 21 and wants to find love?
Dr. Laura would probably ask her about her health and fitness. She would probably fat shame her.
What?
Yeah.
I don't like Dr. Laura.
She does
I'm
a lot
sorry.
of fat
I don't know
shaming.
Dr. Laura, but I am not into her.
If someone's single, it's because a lot of times it's because you're fat. That's what she's.
How does she feel about like
she'll suss it out.
LGBT?
Oh, you know, she's
Cute.
she doesn't think they should be having children. Not a fan of
Oh,
that.
Dr. Laura, I don't like you one bit.
No,
Dr.
you
No,
would not
but
like
yeah,
Dr. Laura.
no. But
No, you
I
would
understand why you do.
And by the way, like, I don't want to say I don't like her ideology.
Yeah.
Like,
But she comforts you. I mean,
it's just something about listening to that old skeleton bigot just fucking say stupid shit really fucking soothes me. I don't
way
know.
about like Hitler's speeches. I just like, I'm totally kidding. It's just something about like the yell.
But no,
totally.
she's
Do
not.
you feel guilty when you buy something like the Casablanca screening or something like that?
The Casablanca screening, 100% of the proceeds. The only reason why I ever have bought anything direct, I always buy her books used. The only thing I have ever bought directly from Dr. Laura was that ticket, and it was because 100% of the proceeds went to Operation Family Fund.
Oh, that's awesome.
So all of my $89, because the movie was donated by Warner Brothers, because the ArcLight room was donated because it was going to Operation Family Fund, which helps out families that come back from war and are not assisted by the government the way that they should. A lot of these people come home and they fucking are homeless because their family was not helped out and they don't have legs. And like, it's so, you know, it's really, so I do, you know, I think there's a lot of problematic things about our military, but I do like that she is there for soldiers, because I do think a lot of people enter the military very young when their frontal lobe is not fully formed, and maybe they would have made a different decision and they come back fucking ruined for life. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, no, I don't like, if Dr. Laura like yelled at one of you guys, I would not be okay with that.
I wouldn't be okay with that.
But I don't know.
I get it. She's like a relative to you.
Exactly. That's exactly right. She's like a relative. She's like the closest thing I have to my grandmother still. Like, my grandmother was not like that, but she's a constant in my life. I don't have brothers and sisters. I don't have any other family. Like, that is, you're right. She's like she's like family to me. She really is. It's so weird.
Because
She's
you're
like Jodie
making
Sweetin.
excuses for her like family. Not that you're not right, but I mean, you're
It's like,
talking
you know,
about
that's
her like
it was his era. You
Yeah.
can't really, like, when it's like you're crazy.
I mean, you
drunk
talk like
uncle.
a person talking about their racist relative.
Yeah.
You know, but you have less of a connection where even with a racist relative, you would take more responsibility. Being like, next time he says something, I'm going to say something to him, but this is over the radio.
I put my godfather, who's my
she did,
uncle,
yeah.
on fucking blast on Twitter, and because I found out he was running like a fake news Twitter, and I fucking put him on blast, and I was like, I'm ashamed of you.
He was running a fake news
Hashtag
Twitter.
pro-life, hashtag MAGA, like up in the bio.
What the?
Hashtag Catholic.
Like a separate one from like another. Just he made a Twitter just to like regurgitate fake news
under his first name and my grandmother's maiden name, which is another thing I took deep umbrage with.
Yeah.
And it's a popular last name, Delaney, but like it's also, you know, fucking, that's my girl.
Yeah.
Like, so I just like that. I just took umbrage with that. And I was just like, and I had just come from the Women's March, and he had posted something, you know, the thing that I retweeted, he seems to think was the thing that broke me. But what it was I just retweeted it because it was the last tweet that he had tweeted. And I just wanted to draw attention to his account and be like, I'm fucking ashamed of you.
Yeah.
It was like, mentally ill, over-the-hill actress Ashley Judd recites insane poem at
That was
Women's
amazing,
March.
her speech. I loved it.
And also, I'm like, Uncle Paul, like, you're the same age as Ashley Judd. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what do you mean over the hill? Like, you're probably the same. You're probably older than her. Like, and that just really, like, to me, that stung because I'm just like, not only is it fucking sexist, I was like, but I spent thousands and thousands of dollars to be in Washington, D.C. so I could have the privilege of being with those people there that day. And my own family, like, doesn't even see, you know, you have a wife, you have a daughter. Yeah. You know, why aren't you? And I'm, you know, and I'm hesitant to get too much more into it because I respect his kids too much. But I really, you know, I was very, very hurt by that. And I was very disappointed. And I realized, you know, that I couldn't just go home every Christmas and, like, you know.
We lost family, too, over the election.
Yeah. You know, like, we, like, laugh about SNL and we laugh about, like, you know, old bits. And, like, we've had, like, you know, my uncle and I have always bonded over comedy. My uncles and I have always bonded over comedy. And I think that that is why I am in the field that I am in, because they didn't treat me like a girl. They just treated me like they, you know, they were jokey with me growing up and they were unrelenting. And so it taught me very, very young to have a good sense of humor. Yeah. And for years, people would be like, what made you want to get into comedy? I'd just be like, honestly, like my uncles. And so we do have that. But then with that comes the other shit. And the other shit is just too, I have plenty of things to laugh at. I can't be on the, I can't, you know, I don't understand how they don't see that they're on the wrong side of history.
That's what
really
I say.
don't.
I say, I'll see you on the other side of history at this point because I'm done. Yeah. Fighting with them.
And also, it's like, there were so many, like, nuns. There were so many #Catholic. There were so many people that were not, they're not even pro-choice, but they're women of our fucking same religion that are there, and they're there because it's about peace and it's about equality and it's about just doing the right thing. And you can be pro-woman and also hold your beliefs. And, like, you know, I'm not going to try to, like
what's her name? Tommy Lauren or whatever.
Yeah. Fucking crazy person. But anyway, okay.
Here, wait, what's one good thing that happened this week?
Okay, yeah, let's do this. Because that's a little bummer note to end on. You go first.
Damn it. I was going to say we're not dead. We didn't die in a nuclear holocaust. But I realized that's really nuts.
I met 2 new cool people today. You and my friend that I had coffee with this morning. And I feel very inspired by the people and the women in my life. And I have become much more selective about who I bring around me and who I keep in my circle after that. And I am proud of the choices I'm making, and they make me happy and inspire me, and that's a great thing. And then also Dr. Laura's.
Oh my God, that's good.
You guys.
Well, my thing is.
Christina.
My niece is starting to speak in fuller sentences, and we had our first, like, full phone conversation today. Where, like, I would ask a question and she responded with, like, words.
Give me an example.
Did you cry?
Well, she greeted me. She said, "Hi, Tina."
Did you melt?
So she said that. And I was like, "How are you?" She said, "Good, I'm with Gigi," which is my mom. And that was it. But that was full
Good,
enough.
I'm with Gigi. That's that's 2 sentences almost.
She's not even 2 yet.
That is very cute. Her niece is so fucking cute.
I have pictures, yeah.
I have another one that I want to share. Stacey Jones, friend of the pod.
Oh, yeah.
Was in NYC last night. That's New York City.
What?
For the listeners at home who don't know. And she met some people. And I want to play you this voice note she sent me.
Mom. Girl. So, the weirdest thing happened to me last night. but it was also a like slight celeb moment for me to the extent that it can be. So I'm in New York with Cooper, and I was hanging out with his friends at the hotel where we're staying in Brooklyn, and this girl was like, "Do you listen to Molly McAleer's podcast?" I'm like, I was on Molly McAleer's podcast, okay? And she was very excited. It was cute and sweet, and she and her friends are like obsessed with your podcast. So I just wanted to let you know that I encountered some Please Advise fans last night, and I kind of want to les out with her also. So I love you.
I kind of want to les out with her. I missed that part the first 3 times. I kind of want to les out with her also. I missed that the first 3 times I listened to it. Stacy. See, first of all, this is a great example. Stacy is a girl I met at a party fucking 12 years ago or something. We had a really fun night. She randomly was at my 25th birthday where I saw Christina.
That's an
and
important
she
birthday for you.
walked up to me and said, "Oh my God, are you Molly?" She was like, "I couldn't be your friend when we first met because I was in a really fucking negative headspace. But now I'm like, you were like, I never forgot how cool you were." And I was like, "Oh my God, Stacey Jones, like I fucking love you. Like you don't know how often I think of you fondly." And we had only met one night at this party. So, and then I didn't see her for a while. Then my roommate Sarah comes home one day, like 6 years ago, and says, "Yeah, I've been volunteering for Planned Parenthood. There's this one girl in the group. She's so funny. Her name is Stacy." I go, "Wait a minute. Is it Stacey Jones?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like what are the odds that like you happen to be volunteering with my star-crossed BFF? Like I'm supposed to be best friends with Stacey Jones. We just never get to see each other. Then it turns out she lives 2 streets over from me. We hang out this was then I moved to West Hollywood. Find out she lives 2 streets away from me. We hang out once. The last year we've hung out more times than we have in the 12 years we've known each other. But Stacy is the fucking illest, and shout out, hey guys, to whoever met Stacy this weekend. That's so cool. Please Advise Nation is strong. Where can people find you on the web?
On Twitter at Chantal Claret, or Instagram Chantal Claret, or Facebook, which I hate. This is Chantal Claret, I think.
Do you have is it your page or?
Oh yeah, or you can go to chantalclaret.com, which has all the
get some merch.
I used to, yeah, but I don't like using it anymore. I got too much shit. I mean, I'm too obsessed with the world right now to Snapchat.
I look at Snapchat's the only thing that I interact with other people's content. Like I'll go through Twitter sometimes.
Instagram is my jam, and like Twitter just makes me sad and scared, and Instagram I go to just look at people and then say my daily musings, and then that's it.
Instagram, like, our words, my soul. Like it really, like I am always just I sit there, I hold my breath the entire time.
Why? Because
I'm terrified I'm going to see an ex-boyfriend with someone, or I'm going to like see like a bunch of people I know hanging out without me, and like be like, oh, they're all fucking over me now. Like they're all together, but I'm not there. Like, where do I fall into the mix? They've all forgotten about malls.
We got to talk about this next time.
Because so that's like basically, I'll just go on to, and it means too much to me.
Yeah.
When someone likes, like if someone who's like an ex's friend's girlfriend likes my thing, I'm like, oh, she still likes me. That is so cool. Like that means more to me than anyone could know. And it just means too much to me.
It's like a little kiss.
Yeah, it's
like a little kiss through the air.
It really is.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This is long overdue.
I know.
I'm so happy you're
Me
here.
too.
Christina, thank you for being the best friend and the best podcast partner.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you for being awesome, Molly.
And I hope everyone had a really good Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Christ is risen, girl.
Yay, we need him.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Oh my God, fuck you.
I appreciate
you.
It's an inside joke. I'm sorry.
No, I just got in on it. I don't even know what it means, but I'm doing it.
Someone called this podcast being like, Christina, you're amazing. I fucking love you so much, Miles. Appreciate you. And they like hung up, and I was just like, I'm sorry? You appreciate me? Like after like this fucking verbal poem you've just given Christina, and I like get like appreciate you? It's called Please Advise with Molly McAleer. Like
Oh, but that's why you needed your phone. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
one.
you.
Yeah.
Fucking A. All right. No, but by the way, you should love Christina, but I'm also just like going to be salty. Like,
get
I need, that's my movie. All right. You guys have a good week. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.